Word, son. What it do, YouTube? It's your boy, Devon. All right, man. Before we get into all the details of Madden 20, which is almost right around the corner, let's give a big shout out and a round of applause to Pat Mahomes. Man, he had a hell of a season last year. He's one of my top 3 quarterbacks, man, next to Carson Wentz and Foles. There you go. That's my top 3. But anyway, so yeah, man, Pat Mahomes, he deserves the cover, man. I just hope that he be the one to break the Madden curse, hopefully. So we'll just have to see. But either way, man, this is one of the 3 editions of Madden 20 that's coming out. They're slating to release it on August 2nd. And of course, the Superstar Edition, which you see right here, this edition, this is the one that releases 3 days early. So you have the Standard Superstar Edition and the Ultimate Superstar Edition, which is pretty much all catered to Ultimate Team. Y'all know how this goes. Like I said, we're going to touch on a lot of this stuff later once we get past all the details. But yeah, this is the official cover for the Superstar Edition, and they're pushing to release on August 2nd. The Superstar Edition releases 3 days early. One of the big features that pretty much is everybody's been clamoring about is basically you can create a quarterback and you play as one of the 10 college teams from the Big 12 and SEC, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think those are the 2 conferences that they use. But you can play as one of those 10 teams and create a quarterback and play as a quarterback on one of those 2 college teams. On one of those 10 college teams, play 2 full games in the college playoffs. I think national championship or something like that. And then once you do well in that, depending on how well you do, you go to the combine. Once you go to the combine, you get drafted. Once you get drafted, you play on the NFL team. You play through your season. And then also they've added Pro Bowl mode now. So instead of it being something that you skip, now you can actually play Pro Bowl mode with the appropriate jerseys and helmets, or however it is that they're going to do it with the jerseys and stuff like that, or the equipment. But yeah, Pro Bowl mode is a now playable mode to connect to franchise mode. So that's also great. Another feature that they're trying to add, or they're adding this year, is now kind of like, you know how when you play 2K and depending on what your build is, you know, everybody has a takeover meter. So depending on how well you do, your takeover meter fills up. Once it fills up or reaches a certain point, you can click the stick and then now all of a sudden you're on fire, or your takeover meter is activated. So now whatever your build is, now all of a sudden your stats are heightened. Your guy plays tremendously well or better than him actually not being on fire. So this is what Madden is trying to do now with their players in Madden 20. So I'm guessing, let's just say if Carson Wentz, yes, that's my boy, I'm still rocking with Carson Wentz, all right? You know what I'm saying? A1 since day one. But yeah, let's say if Carson Wentz has a drive where he's 7 of 7, you know, all his passes are connected, he's making all the right passes, all the right calls, he scores a touchdown, has a perfect drive. Let's just say that let's say that he has an ability of being I don't know, let's just say clutch, I don't know, let's just say that, or whatever, and his passing accuracy gets bumped up by 4 or something like that. I'm just speculating at this point, but if they say that they're adding something like that, that's the only thing I can think of off the top of my head. But that's something they're trying to add into Madden 20 for the players to kind of like I don't know, differentiate themselves from one another. I don't really know, I'm just speculating, but that's what they say that they're trying to do for these players in Madden 20 now. So I'm guessing everybody has their own unique badge or something that signifies that type of player that they are. That's what I'm guessing. But now that we got that out of the way, let's take a step out of all this real quick. All right, so y'all know all the details. Links in the comments in the description. Link is in the description down below. Check them out. And let's just really get into my analysis of all of this. I've seen people losing their minds about the 10 college teams coming to Madden 20, and people are saying like, oh, could this be the resurgence of college football for Madden? For EA. They're bringing it into Madden. There's got to be something brewing. I hate to bust your bubble, but I'm gonna keep it all the way funky with you. It's not happening. All right, it's not happening because, first of all, look at it like this. Let's say FIFA, for example. FIFA, every year of FIFA that has come out, there are over at least 200 teams for FIFA. At least over 200. I'm not sure how many there are, but it's a lot of teams and a lot of players on each team. Do you understand that the people over there at FIFA, or whatever division that is that works on FIFA, Do you understand that they have to go through individually for every player on each individual team and get their player likeness onto that game in order for them to be used, and they got to pay them on top of that? I mean, FIFA. Well, let's just look at soccer altogether. Soccer is one of the most, I wouldn't say popular. Well, you can say popular depending on where you stay, but it's the most universal game that you can play anywhere all over the world. When the World Cup is here, you see how people go bananas about it. But that division of EA has to fork over all that money and shell out that money, same thing, but they have to shell out all that money to each individual player to get their player likeness on that game. That's a lot of players, and they shelling out a lot of money for that. So do you think the Madden division over there, whoever works on Madden, do you think they really have all that money to make a college football game and have all the players, each individual likeness in the game, each individual player likeness in the game? They could do it with all the money that they was making from Ultimate Team, but that's just speculation. But they could probably do it, but it's a lot more that probably goes into it. So just to save y'all the hard time and headache and heartache, might as well just say no, because it's a lot that has to go into getting the player likeness of each individual player. And I keep saying it because that's the truth. Player likeness. EA is not going to fork over all that money to get everybody's individual similarities or player likeness into the game. They're not going to do it. So make a long story less long, no, it's not coming back. You better off buying NCAA 14 or playing NCAA 14, in which, I kid you not, there are the 18-19 rosters of college football on that game still. People are still making rosters. You just gotta look them up. It's on Operation Sports. But moving on to the next thing, I want to say the resurgence of Superstar Mode. EA has a way of bringing back things but twisting it. Like, give me an example. Remember when everybody was talking about franchise mode, how intuitive franchise mode was, coming off the heels of like Madden 06, 07, 08, you know what I mean? Well, let's just say 07, because 07 was the one that I liked a franchise mode. That was back on PS2 days. To me, that was like the most in-depth franchise mode, because it was just so like I said, in-depth, and just worked on so well. So, once Madden 09 came around, it's pretty much watered down. Madden 08, it was watered down. Madden 10, they tried to make it innovative by making the extra point, the little halftime show, or the little thing that they would play during your franchise mode or season or whatever. You would play through that, and it would just, I don't know, it would just leave you with this empty void. In the Madden 11, it kind of got watered down. 12, still same thing. 13, they brought it back, and it was called Connected Careers. Now, that was their way of trying to bring back franchise mode, but putting a different spin on it, which it was the worst thing ever, because they got a lot of backlash behind that. So when they brought it back, they eventually started calling it Connected Franchise, which in a way it was supposed to keep it connected versus whether you want to make a player, coach, or an owner. That was the way of it being connected. Or if you want to bounce back and forth between different players, you didn't have to waste a lot of time going back, load here, go up, load there, load here. No, everything was connecting, hence the word Connected Franchise. So that was, what Connected Careers at the time. Then they finally revamped it and went back and said Connected Franchise, and they kind of started slowly rolling everything that made franchise mode into Connected Franchise. So, when they brought back Superstar Mode, and when I started reading what they said about it, which basically you create a quarterback and you build him, you create him however you want to create him, then you pick one of the 10 teams to play, one of the 10 teams on college, and you play 2 full college football games, and then you go to the NFL Combine, then you get drafted, and then you play your season mode, you play in the Pro Bowl if you get picked, and then it recycles after that, you know what I mean? But then to hear that it's only centered around a quarterback, it really says a lot about EA and how they like to try to compartmentalize things, which I've said it in almost every year of Madden that has come out. They compartmentalize a lot of things. Why do you have to make it to where it's just centered around a quarterback? Because Patrick Mahomes is on the cover? It's cool that you're trying to show love to Patrick Mahomes and trying to bring in a new mode, which essentially it sounds to me like Long Shot 3.0, because they had part 2. So it sounds to me like a long shot type story mode or career mode, whatever you want to call it. but you can make other builds, but it's not centered the same way or presented the same way as if you were to do a quarterback. You know what I mean? So it just kind of deters people from saying that, oh, superstar mode is back. Oh, I wanted to make a corner. Why am I getting all this flashy stuff and all these stats and all this other stuff? Like, give an example. You got Road to Glory in NCAA 14. It didn't matter what position you played. You still got the same amount of spotlight, whether you was a tackle or you was a kicker. You know what I'm saying? A quarterback, a 5-star quarterback to a 1-star tackle. You still got the same amount of, spotlight depending on how well or bad you played. There was no individuality. Like, everything was all tied into one. But with them bringing back superstar mode and only centering around quarterbacks and everything else don't get no love, the same amount of love as a quarterback, because that's what the career mode is supposed to be about as a quarterback, it kind of just like it tears everybody in the middle, and it just leaves the community split, because we wanted superstar mode back, but not in this fashion. It's like you're trying to save face. You know what I mean? That's almost as like what they're trying to do. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. More will be revealed. We gotta just wait to see what more details roll out. Then also we have the Pro Bowl mode, which I'm glad they're bringing that back, because a lot of things that they were saying that they couldn't do with Pro Bowl mode was the fact that they didn't have enough resources or enough memory, whatever that means, that they didn't have enough of that to actually make a Pro Bowl mode playable. So the way I remember I was talking to one of my friends about this, and it's like once they have like this big sandbox, essentially, we're just gonna call it a sandbox. Once they put all this stuff together, they have a certain amount of memory to be working with. Once they put everything together, they're using up all the memory or the resources, if you will, and they have only this amount enough. They only have this amount to work with. If they're let's just say if all their memory goes into long shot, that means mechanics are gonna be bad, graphics might be bad, graphics might be subpar, but mechanics might be bad, the AI might be bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, something has to suffer. Hence why I keep saying compartmentalize. Because when they have to keep honing in all their resources on one thing, and then everything else is pretty much just compartmentalized and, somehow slopped together, and it somehow meshes or it doesn't mesh, then they're just sitting there just shrugging their shoulders like I'm doing right now as I'm recording. It's like, well, what do you want us to do? Well, we gave y'all another Madden, so here it is. Enjoy it. We'll try to patch it as the year goes along. Like, no, man. Like, you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So you can't do that. So, I'm just glad the fact that they added Pro Bowl mode, because everybody was asking for that. It's no longer just a sim only thing. You can actually play in it. Granted, if you get picked. But that's cool. But like I said, more details had to be revealed, which I'll be covering on this channel. Last thing I wanted to cover was the special ability, or let's just save it for the fact of this video. I'm getting tongue tied. For the fact of this video, we're just gonna call it a takeover badge, essentially. All right, let's just call it that. But but this special ability that players get when they perform so well, it kind of leaves me in like this dry spot, because not dry spot, but a gray area, because everybody knows how 18, 19, and the years before that, how they played, and how players played better than they were supposed to, or played worse than they were supposed to. So when this, let's just say takeover badge gets activated. Okay, I'm just saying this because I don't really know how exactly they're going to do it, but we're just going to save face for everybody that plays 2K. Y'all know how that takeover badge thing goes. So we're just going to apply that to Madden. Once that gets initiated, how OP do these players plan on being? Because the way I see it, it's going to require a lot of tuning. A lot of it is going to have to be done while the game is out, because these players are going to start acting like they have no kind of flaws whatsoever. And I already see how it's going to pan out, because I really don't see it being fruitful for all players, because a guy might be performing very well. He might be on fire, and he can't miss a pass, or he's just getting forward progress every chance he touches the ball, and it leaves the user to feel like he has nothing to combat against that. Now, I'm pretty sure to combat that, they also have the same thing on defense with different players. Now, the way I'm kind of like wording it off, it sounds like how they used to do in Madden 09 with the whole weapon thing. Y'all remember the weapons? Well, you had somebody like Brian Hawkins, who was a big hitter. You had somebody like Troy Polamalu. He was a smart safety, where every play that he would play in, if he got a stop, his light bulb would fill up. And every time when his light bulb got full, he can reveal the offensive play and how would it be ran. You know what I'm saying? So it sounds like that. I'm not sure if that's them trying to bring that back. I don't know. I'm just speculating at this point. But the way I'm wording it off, it sounds like that. So, you know, I don't really know how it's gonna pan out. You know, I said last year when they started doing RPM, the whole real player motion engine or whatever that they had from UFC 3, and they imported it to Madden 19. You know, will it mesh? I mean, obviously in Madden 19 it didn't mesh that well, but will this mesh well? We'll never know, man. But hopefully y'all enjoy, man. I know this is kind of long, but you know, I kind of had to give y'all my thoughts and opinions as well as the details that also got released. So hopefully y'all enjoy it, man. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, and I'll be back with more once some more details get revealed. And yeah, I'm going to get up out of here, man. Appreciate all the support. Welcome all the subscribers. You know, hopefully y'all like the content that y'all will see me be putting out soon. And yeah, I'm going to get up out of here, man. It's your boy Jay Divine, and I'm signing out. Peace.